So a couple things. Like I've said this before, but when I wear the shirt, I just feel like Bruce Springsteen, Juice Springsteen, and uh, so I'm not someone who usually like is cognizant of this, but when I took my father-in-law to the Springsteen concert at the X last spring, it's a fantastic time, right? But I was looking around the X because it seats like what 16,000 people or whatever. I was looking around, I was like, I'm literally the youngest person here and the darkest person here. That's it. Again, not anything malicious, and I'm not usually one who cares about stuff like that, but I just thought it was hilarious because it was all like middle-aged white dudes and gals, because I don't know, I guess that is the demo, right? It was just hilarious because I was just like looking around, I was like, wait a minute, I have the best hips of anyone here. I'm not even talking about Shakira, I'm talking about like functionality in the joints. Anyways, something that's going to be functional is Minnesota Fighting Vikings training camp coming up rather soon, less than a month. Rookies report to TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill on July 21st and the 23rd. The veterans are there, and then we're getting it down. We're getting it now, man. But there's going to be some competition because competition brings out the best in everyone. So here are our top 11 training camp battles we're looking forward to. First up, the guards. So not just left guard, but both guard spots, Kevin O'Connell says, are up for grabs. Well, there's Blake Brandel, Ed Ingram, Dalton Reisner, Tyrese Robinson, Diamond Dan Feeney, Michael Juergens, whoever. And, the first time in forever, like, you feel kind of aight about the Vikings' interior offensive line depth, because if it is a true blue competition, like every single day there will be a rotation of who moves up to the first, who moves down to the second, etc. And it's going to bring out the best in everyone, like Brandel, Reisner, Ed Ingram, hopefully stepping up his game in year 3. I think it is going to be fantastic. Next up, so wide receiver 3. Now, there isn't going to be a cut and dried wide receiver 3. I think that it will end up being more of a committee, whether it's Brandon Powell and Jalen Naylor, Trent Sherfield, Thayer Thomas, Tristan Jackson, etc. So I really do love the full-on open aspect of this. Like, whoever the best is, right? And same thing with the punt return position as well. Will it be Powell? Will it be Thayer Thomas? Will it be someone else? Etc. Next up, number 3, right cornerback. So left cornerback is going to be held down by Shaquille Griffin in all likelihood. Byron Murphy is going to be operating from the slot, which is his natural position. So it comes down to Caleb Evans and Mekhi Blackman and maybe Kyrie Jackson, Andrew Booth Jr. But likely it's just Blackman and Evans who rotated at that first team right cornerback spot during OTAs and mandatory minicamp. Now, I would give the slight edge to Mekhi Blackman, just given what the Vikings want to do in terms of press man coverage this year. I would give Blackman the slight edge there. Evans was a fantastic zone cornerback going back to his year at Mizzou. But Evans was benched 7 times last year by Flores. So either way, fantastic to have competition out there. But I think eventually Blackman will win that job. Next up, number 4, defensive interior. So that is probably the position that's still the largest question mark for the Vikings. Now, Harrison Phillips is going to be in that mix. Is he going to play as many snaps as he did last year? Probably not. They've talked about reducing those. Jonathan Bullard is great against the run, but everything else is really open. So Jerry Tillery, former first-round pick coming out of Notre Dame, former Charger, former Raider. He really is a mama I can change him, type guy. Former first-round pick, and hopefully he can pan out on some of that pedigree. And then the rest of it, like, hopefully Jaquelin Roy can step up in year 2. Hopefully James Lynch can come back from his ACL and be a factor, because I think that his skill set lends itself to being a 5-tech in this spot, a pass rushing nose tackle in this spot. I think that he fits the 3-man front a lot better than he ever did in the 4-man front, like he was forced to play his first couple years in the league. Jahad Ward, Jonah Williams, Taki Taami, LDR, Levi Drake Rodriguez, senior sack, Jalen Redmond, the UFL guy. So, there's talent there. Just figuring out what the pecking order is going to be and who's going to rise up and be where. Next up, number 5. Actually, could put this a little bit higher. Can you put this higher? So, punter. It is a legitimate competition. Now, kicker, Will Rockhurd is going to beat out Romo. So it is what it is. But Seth Vernon, the upstart, former 2022 UDFA out of Portland State, he's got a leg Like he's got a massive, massive leg, and Ryan Wright was great as a rookie in 2022, not so much last year in 2023. So it is going to be a legitimate competition between Wright and Seth Vernon, and that's definitely one to keep an eye on. Next up, number 6. Mullins versus McCarthy. Now, a lot of people do want to say it's going to be Darnold versus McCarthy, except I think we're a ways away there. Like McCarthy would have to take a lightning, a leap forward, which is possible. Don't get me wrong. Like there is a scenario where J.J. McCarthy comes out and is beasting with the Riesling, and all of a sudden he wins the quarterback one job. There is a scenario where that happens, but baby steps first. And Nick Mullins has been firmly with the second team offense during OTAs, and he knows the offense. He's a veteran. He's been there, done that. Got in the T-shirt. He can put up numbers in this offense in both columns, turnovers as well. But McCarthy, just sticking with the process, man. Just getting better every single day. All the cliches. I mean, the kid really is a walking cliche, but that's not a negative. But if he gets better and puts up some great plays and learns from his mistakes, and just throughout training camp, the days and the weeks, and in preseason, I think that he could work his way up to quarterback 2, and then that definitely adjusts the way that the Vikings are going to array the 53-man rooster. But yeah, I think that's the first competition. Not so much Darnold and McCarthy, but Mullins and McCarthy is going to be the first step. Next up, number 7, Hawkinson's fill-in. So Hawkinson is probably going to be starting the season on the PUP list. Probably going to miss a chunk of the start of the season. It is what it is. Who's going to step up as that pass-catching tight end? Now, like we've said, Oliver is pretty established as the blocking tight end, one of the best blocking tight ends in the game. Johnny Munt, been familiar with the offense going back to the Rams days, looked pretty damn good filling in as a pass-catching tight end last year. But Robert Tonyan, he's round the outside, looking good, coming back from his own ACL from a couple years ago, completing his NFC North tour, and he's been looking good throughout OTAs, and he's been rising up. He's a professional. He's been there, done that, got the T-shirt. He's had a double-digit touchdown season in the NFL, so I wouldn't sleep on him. And also, I mean, maybe Nick Muse or N'Keal Harry, the converted receiver, maybe they can get a little bit in the derby as well. Next up, number 8, second team offensive line. So this is... again, offensive line depth is always interesting to me, but whoever wins the guard spot. So, say right now, it sticks according to Hoyle. So, Darisaw, Brandel, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, and Brian O'Neill. And generally, you carry 9 to 10 offensive linemen on the 53. I would carry 10. Even though our projection the other day, I think we did 9. But Quisenberry is a rock-solid veteran swing backup tackle. Can Walter Rouse get into that mix? Can he start developing into that swing tackle that you drafted him to be? Or, Dalton Reisner on the second team, Diamond Dan Feeney, probably the new Brett Jones, probably the new Chris Reed, where he can back up both guard spots and center. Tyrese Robinson, I know that he's been working with the second team. I know that the team likes him a lot. Can Michael Juergens step up, the rookie, or any one of the other UDFAs? Can they get into the mix as well? So it's going to be funny, well, not funny, but interesting to see how that second team offensive line starts differentiating itself during training camp and then during preseason games. Next up, number 9. Off-ball linebacker 4. So now we're getting into the weeds. So the top 3 at off-ball is pretty set. Pace, Cashman outside, how about that? Grugier Hill. And will it be Asamoah, the former day 2 guy from Oklahoma who's dealt with injuries, or Abraham Beauplan, who the coaching staff likes a lot, or can a guy like Dallas Ganter, KJ Cloyd get into there as well? Where I think the Vikings will probably just keep 4 off balls on the 53, maybe 1 on the practice squad, but who's it going to be? Who's it going to be when you don't know me anymore? 10 backup safeties. So this is basically the question of, is Lewis Cine going to make the roster? All right, because Harrison, Beasley, Metellus, win, play, show, 1, 2, 3. Carry on, my J-Word son has been fantastic in OTAs. Like, he's really good on special teams when he's not making crucial mistakes. Theo Jackson has been... Theo Jackson is really low-key one of my favorite players on this team. But the team isn't going to carry 6 safeties on the 53. Maybe not even carry 6 safeties in the sphere. Like, maybe 4 and 1 or 5 and 0, something like that. So I think that this is really it for Lewis Cine. Like, this is the Alamo. Like, need to see some progress in year 3, or he could be in danger of being waived. And we'll see. Lastly, number 11. So the other edge rushers. So yes, basically it's Grenard, Dallas Turner, AVG. And then everyone else, like who slots in as the fourth edge rusher, who's going to make the rooster. I got Patrick Jones second in a contract year. Now, he's shown flashes, and I like PJ too, the pride of Pitt, but could it be a spot where he could be potentially trade bait to somewhere else? Andre Carr the second. Second year, former Army guy, definitely needs some more time to marinate. Gabriel Murphy, the highly touted UDFA from UCLA, could he get into the mix on the 53 with a very impressive training camp and preseason? Bo Richter, Owen Porter also in there as well. But either way, like tons of competition, and that's the great thing about training camp is it's not so much about the stars or who's looking good, but who is rising up and who is taking the competition to heart and who is seizing their opportunity, who's carpe diem, right? And again, that's a really fun part. That's what I'm looking forward to. Plus, again, the guard competition. I can't wait. I literally am peeing myself a little bit just thinking about, there's actually going to be competition at the guard spots. Now, if only there was competition at the center spot. Connor Williams. Anyways, that's it. Our top 11 training camp battles we're looking forward to. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.